Let's roll. Hi, ladies.
All right. Welcome in, folks. Just a second here. Are we looking good there, Chelsey?
Yeah, everything's looking good. I think we'll give it another minute or so to see if anybody else pops in at the last minute.
Okay. We will get started here shortly. Again, I would really like to have theme music of some sort. I think
Uh, I mean,
that's what we're
sure.
missing.
Yeah, I'm sure we could find some sort of elevator music.
What if we did karaoke and had the other people on the call sing?
There is nothing I would love more than that.
Awesome. Cool. Well, if you if you are new to this, we are recording this and going to turn it into a blog post. We're going to give that a shot for kind of redistribution of this office hours. But yeah, welcome to Revaluate Office Hours. My name is Chris Dreyer. I'm co-founder. Started this with Tim about 10 years ago, and I am the head janitor here at Revaluate. Chelsey?
I'm Chelsey. I am the account manager, doer of all the things, licensed real estate agent, and I'm generally your point of contact. So I know I've met you both. So hi.
Very good. And so, what we're going to do today, similar to what we always do at office hours, which we meet on Thursday. So, you're welcome to join us if you're watching this later. You can join us at noon Mountain Time, 2 Eastern, for office hours. We'll throw that link in the blog post so that you can join us. But we go through and we talk a little bit about some of the industry news that's happening around us and that affects us in the real estate space. And we talk about kind of the tools and tips as they relate to Revaluate. So, how best to use the data so that you can get more listings and improve your data going forward so you can make more sales in the coming year. As always, we like crowd participation. So, feel free to jump in the chat and throw questions, comments there as we go forward. Anything else to add to that before I start sharing,
No, I
Chelsey?
think that's it. Let's roll.
Let's roll. Awesome. I believe I am sharing my buddy Mike's face. Is that what you're seeing?
Indeed, you are.
Yeah. So here we are. We're going to talk about inventory, talk about sales prices, and where things are trending because there is a concern that has emerged here. I always try to get Mike to pause in just the worst possible facial expression. I'm sure he appreciates that.
He doesn't know it
So
yet until
the
I put this blog post out, and then he sees
no,
all of the ways in which
that's right.
freeze his face.
Yeah. Yeah, he's never been on this call to see us do it, but now when we make it into a blog post on YouTube, there's a possibility that Mike will give me
Absolutely.
a hard time for this. So, hi, Mike. Cool. So his YouTube videos are awesome. They're legendary on Altos. If you have the time to jump in and do them, he does them weekly. They're about 10 minutes long. Every month he does an hour long deep dive. Super valuable, and you can get information from Altos, which is owned by Housing Wire. Here we're looking at inventory levels. So annually, we see that compared to last year, we are up significantly from an inventory standpoint. And we're almost, and the point of this week's video in his case was next year at this time, we're going to be back to January 2018 pre-pandemic levels of inventory, which is really remarkable. Um, the average year over year home appreciation rate over the last decade, 12 years or so, has been 5% as an average. So if you think about your own home listings that you've had, those increase in value 5% pretty much like clockwork. Some years it's a lot more, some years a little less. But what's really significant that we're seeing right now is that there is less appreciation happening, especially in the South. So the South is seeing lower appreciation, home appreciation levels. North is still seeing a little bit more. It evens out. Last year, instead of 5%, it was down just to 4%. And currently, the cause for concern in our circles is that currently we're looking at a 2% price growth average nationwide. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago and we asked people to talk about what they were seeing in their markets. And I thought that was a lot of fun to deep dive into that. Maybe we'll do something more on that in the near future. Let's see if there's something else that I wanted to share here from Mike. That wasn't it. Oh, here, this is super interesting. So in the last 3 years, interest rates have been growing or have increased, as well as home prices have increased. And we've talked quite a bit about affordability in these office hours conversations in the past. But the piece that didn't match with those two growths, so interest rates growing and house prices growing, is inventory. Inventory had been just so low. And so now, if we take those three factors and add them together, kind of the question that I'd propose to you, and Chelsey, maybe you have thoughts too. Interest rates higher, house prices are higher, and if inventory is now higher, what does that kind of supply situation, high supply, mean for pricing in general?
Well, I
So I
think with
think it
high,
means that we're
yeah, the
high
prices are going to,
demand. Sorry, go ahead.
well, I was going to say, I think, with all of those things in consideration, we're going to hopefully see prices start going down. I think it has escalated so much post-COVID that they're pricing people out of markets and pricing people out of even the ability to purchase a home.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. So from a home buyer standpoint, and if you're operating on transaction standpoint, like real estate agents are, this could lead to more transactions if prices start reeling back. Maybe that allows more people to purchase more home, square footage size or a better new home for them where they need to. Of course, at Revaluate, we look at life events. Life events cause people to move, whether or not they really need to, based on they need to rather whether or not they have a good interest rate. So that's why life events matter so much um, for triggering transactions. Let's see here. This was pretty amazing that he shared this piece. This is another sign of the times. Let's see if I can find it here. There have been more price cuts this February. So the house goes on the market and then gets a price cut. 33% of listings took a price cut this February. Right?
That's crazy.
That is a wow factor. That is the most price cuts in a February, or the most percentage of homes with a price cut in February in a decade. So if you're looking for trend analysis, like big time trend analysis, let's see if this will work. If I can get this up here. Are you seeing my other screen there? There you go. There's our graph. So here's 2025 in the middle. The blue line is 24. The green line is 23. This is February price. These are price cuts over time. And you can see we're above the last 2 years. Another cause for concern that we're going to see, dropping prices here, home values decreasing, but perhaps that leads to more transactions. Okay, I was going to change gears and talk about the news that we've seen for Zillow and Redfin. Has this come up in your world? Is this a concern with your customers? Let's kind of chat about it, because I think you might see, as an agent, you might see some of these conversations coming up with consumers. So let's get you a little bit brought up to speed on this if you're not already. A couple of years ago, this is August of 23, Zillow and Redfin. Redfin, of course, a large nationwide real estate company with great tech skills. They partnered to help work with builders and get listings promoted on Zillow. And they were starting to collaborate and didn't really think a whole lot of it at the time. Zillow had just exited their kind of iBuyer thing at the time, and I didn't really think too much of it. This though, this felt really another step forward. So this is just a couple weeks ago. Zillow and Redfin partnered to make apartment hunting easier. And this sounded oddly familiar to me because we were just talking about Open Door, or
Yeah,
not rather not Open Door, but help me out, Chelsea.
homes.com.
Homes.com, right, and apartment.com. And Andrew's attack on Zillow is just, this seems like counterfire, right? So they're going to bring in apartmentguide.com and rent.com, that Redfin, and tie those into the power of Zillow. I think this has legs. This seems like a really smart move on both their parts.
Absolutely.
There was something else in here I wanted to pull
Homes.com is
up.
that creeping too close to their bubble.
Well, and they know that buyers come from renters. They start,
Absolutely.
people, families start as renters, or individuals start as renters and then move into the buyer spaces. So if you can get them more accustomed to your brand. Zillow has a brand in New York that escapes me right now, but that's very focused on renters. Um,
Mm,
and they've
mm.
always Street Easy. Is it Street
Ah,
Easy? I think it's Street Easy.
yeah, I don't know, honestly. That name is familiar, but whether it's associated with Zillow, I don't know that.
Yeah. So they've got that piece locked up there. So this was pretty interesting to me. And then that segues into this conversation. Could Zillow buy Redfin? The thing that agents have always been scared about with big bad Zillow has been the what if they become real estate agents, and what they're going to come after us, and they control the portal, they control all the listings, they control the leads, and now they're going to be the actual agents. Well, they also have a mortgage company. Like they have the whole, I think they have title somehow, or maybe that's a
I'm
distant piece.
sure.
But yeah, this could be a really significant change to the industry if this actually goes through. Tom happens to think that, well, he shared with me that the same Australian organization owns a large piece of Zillow, that owns a large piece of Redfin, and that
Wow.
is sort of driving
Makes
driving
sense.
this deal forward. Yeah, a little bit of consolidation as the market cools. You know that consolidation is going to happen. Redfin laid off 450 people very recently, so that's like 10% or maybe 20% of their workforce, kind of leading up to this
Hmm.
potential transaction. So I'm I'm intrigued.
Yeah. Be interesting to see how this progresses closer to the busy season.
Right, right, yeah. Does that change sellers' minds that are working with Redfin?
Absolutely.
The positive, yeah, probably. Zillow's cash investments at the end of Q4 were $1.9 billion. Zillow had 6,800 people as of December 31st, with a market capitalization of 17.7 billion. Redfin employs more than 4,000 people post cuts, is valued at 980 million. Two big purchases that Zillow has made recently, for huge amounts of money that come to mind. Follow Up Boss was $500 million purchase. And the year or two before that, Showing Time, $500 million purchase. And Redfin stock has dropped 30% in the last 6 months, whereas Zillow shares have gone up 30% over the last 6 months. Seems like this might be happening.
Yeah, if anybody's interested, Redfin stock at the moment is $7.96 a share.
Seems affordable.
It does,
I don't know if
but
that's
it
inside
opened.
knowledge.
Yeah, it's dropped not quite $1 today.
Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm really intrigued. You know, Zillow has made bets on things that have not worked in the past, like the iBuyer situation that they rolled out, and that obviously they shut that down. I think when people are scared about Zillow, they're scared about agents being there because they would monopolize the whole transaction. Because agents know that agents are required to make a transaction. Zillow now apparently knows that agents are required to make a transaction. They can't do it on their own. iBuyer failed. They didn't have a way to manage the entire transaction digitally. They need relationships. They need agents to be working the neighborhoods to get deals done. They need relationships. Relationships matter. So that sort of brings us back to you and your database. So I think to wrap today, it's, you know, the focus of the database and relationships is key. Zillow knows it. They appear to be investing probably pretty significantly in real estate agents that own relationships. So now you're going to see an interesting battle between these bigger real estate brands that are tech oriented but still manage agents in the field. EXP comes to mind, right? Very tech focused. They don't even have brick and mortar offices, but they are crushing and they have a huge number of agents and they're tech focused. Um, but you know, where do people go? Do they go to the EXP websites to do searches? Most people, the number one traffic to real estate site is still Zillow. So it'll be interesting to see how this kind of rolls out. That's what we've got for you guys here today. Thank you for joining us. And for those of you that are watching this later, yes, definitely. We'd love to see your comments in the comment section below. And
Anybody have
look
any
forward to.
questions, comments before we kick
Yeah.
out?
Yeah, Chelsey, it's Lori Swanson.
Lori?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, how are you guys doing?
Good. Good to see you.
Good, you too. So forgive me because I actually had to change. I was gone for a little bit in your presentation, but I'm kind of piecing it together. But so I get what you're saying, but this last piece here, can you be a little bit more specific about what you think is coming down the pike? Um, so for example, like I'm a solo agent and I am very relationship driven. I tried technology last year, a lot of different types of technology, and it's just not for me. Um, obviously your technology, yes, because that helps me build the relationship,
Yeah, but you mean like buying leads and like,
buying leads and
yeah.
all those sorts of things. Exactly. And so um, I get where you're headed with this, that they're trying to become, the place for technology, um,
Mhm.
where people are going to go who are looking for that kind of thing. But do you feel like there's still a space for individual solo agents who are more relationship oriented?
100%. Yeah, Lori, I think that is the people that are going to excel and be valuable in the future are the ones that manage their relationships well. And that's what Zillow is hiring by hiring Redfin agents. Redfin boasts really high number of transactions per agent numbers. They do really well, and they manage their people well. The problem that Zillow identified maybe 5, 7, 8 years ago was that they would get all these leads and they'd send them out to agents, and then they would test, and they found out that 50% of the leads never got called back by real estate agents. So
Mhm.
Zillow was like, oh man, we can't give these leads to turkeys because then our site looks bad and consumers will stop coming to Zillow and looking for asking to see houses if they never get called back because that's a bad experience. So that's when they
Mhm.
rolled out their new program that starts ranking agents, and they would only sell leads to agents that would call back quickly and follow up and get the job done. And they started looking at closing ratios on those leads that they sent to people. So they know that the agent has the relationship with the people to get the job done, but they also want really high quality agents that are going to get the job done and not waste the leads. This partnership that they're proposing or that is being floated as a proposal out there makes sense because it combines the agents that have relationships with the technology and the lead gen together. So I believe this is a really good fit for both companies. Whether it's good for the industry is a whole nother another
But I
question. Whether
think,
it's good for you, the independent, is a whole nother question.
yeah, but I think too, Lori, to kind of circle back on, you're saying how you do things differently. That's what's going to set you apart, in my opinion, as far as you imagine like the typical person who goes on Zillow and clicks, show me this home doesn't have an agent that they have a close enough relationship with that they can say, "Hey, what's the deal on this property?"
Yeah.
Or like, "I'm just browsing, but like curious, like what do you think?" Whereas if you are cultivating those relationships with your sphere and with your potential clients, they would much rather talk to you, someone that they know in real life and know has the answers, as opposed to some nameless, faceless agent that's going to call them and then blow up their phone until the end of time. So I think
Or
what's
not,
really
as the
going to,
case may be.
or not, as the case may be. But I think that's really like that's going to be your strong suit, and just continuing to be that person that has a legitimate relationship with their clients, so that, when they're curious, they're going to ask, like, "Hey, what do you think?" Like, not really ready to sell, but just wondering what the deal is with this house. Opening up that conversation is going to kind of give you the leg up, as opposed to them going through a site like Zillow.
Yeah, this is not a scare factor. Oh no, Zillow's doing something scary. This is, well, it's probably what they need to do. And it, I think, people that have speaks to the value of agents that have good relationships. And if you have good relationships and can foster those relationships, if we can work together to help you find the right people to talk to, that's going to position you in a very strong position in the next 5 years, because who knows beyond that.
Right, right, right. Yeah, yeah, I agree with everything you guys said. I think that the reason that Redfin has high transactions per agent is because of their discounted fees.
Oh,
Um,
that's a very
Mhm.
good point.
and so I can see that this marriage, if it does happen, will kind of work towards driving down compensation. Um, but the iBuyer situation didn't work out for them the way they expected. So maybe this won't either. I don't know. I agree with you. I mean, it's smart business for them to do it, but that's what will be happening is they'll be driving down, making it more of a commodity. The real
Sure.
estate
I was
transactions.
just trying to Google this, but they have this new, I wasn't prepared for that question, but you're spot on. They had a change in their compensation in the last couple of years.
Mhm.
They laid off staff and they ditched their iBuying program, laid off people, and they reduced their compensation, which is the kind of like the salary component, because that wasn't working so well. And so it's a higher commission based role now than it was before. So everyone's trying to see what's next and figure out how it's going to work. And I certainly don't have all the answers, but I'm trying to piece these things together and share it with our audience so that you can be at least informed on the things that are going on. Lord, it sounds like you've got your head on straight and you're pointing in the right direction.
Well, thanks. I appreciate what you guys are doing because this is, information that, for you to be able to present that to us so that we can be on top of what's happening in
Right.
the industry is so important for me because I'm just one person. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, good. Well, we're glad you've been joining us.
Thank you for saying that. Appreciate it, Lori. Well, awesome. So we'll wrap from here and we'll be back here, same time, same place next week. We're going to be covering specifically VAs and how to kind of do some outsourcing on some parts of your work and what parts that may be and how to do that. So that's going to be our topic next week. Until then, hope you do well. Thanks so much for joining us, Lori. Take care.
Thank you. Bye, guys.